welcome to another episode of Northern Ruckus. I'm here with my boy Jimbo.
Yeah, we got Slava with us today.
Big guest, special guest, 2 weeks in a row.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm really
close to the mic. Closer to the mic. Here, I'll move it to you.
Hi, everybody. This is Slava P.
All right, so Slava, introduce yourself. What do you do? Like, how do you know Jimmy? Like, what are the connections? Like,
So I'm Slava P. I'm an author. I wrote this book. This book tells the story of how I went from being a vice journalist to a drug smuggler, and I know Jimmy from one of those things.
Well, it's a podcast. Not everybody's watching it. What's the name of the book?
True. The name of the book is called Bad Trips, and if you Google Bad Trips Slava P, you can find it. It's also on Spotify, Audible, Kobo. Audiobooks, people read very little. People listen a lot, which is why I'm doing an audio podcast.
Mm-hmm. I was literally just listening. I'm the same way. I only listen. I don't read. But like, I'll listen to audiobooks. I'll listen to podcasts and shit all the time. And I was actually just listening to Jordan Peterson this week. He had like Vivek Ramaswamy on the vice president or the president elect or running for, yeah.
Have you seen what that guy looks like?
Yeah, he's a little Indian dude.
Yeah, but he has like a balding person's hairline, but thick hair. It's like Vegeta.
Yeah, and he's gonna be the vice president though. Trump's gonna put him as number 2.
He's gonna be something.
But yeah, well, Jordan Peterson was just talking to him, and Jordan Peterson was like, but since he's been a professor his whole life, he's just coming to the realization that people consume way more listening than reading. Mm-hmm. He's like, even for books, he's like, I feel like any of my books I've ever written, I can explain better than if you just.
Do you mean that people consume more, or that people retain the information?
People retain it better, not just he went in about it. He went on for like 20 minutes about this, but he was saying how like, if I was to get a point across from me talking to you, you would be able to understand it more than like 2 pages of that same information.
Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? Especially someone who's really good at delivering information. Yeah.
So yeah, no, like I definitely fuck with audiobooks. Did you read it out, or you got like an actor to do that shit?
No, they got like a professional actor. His name's Cam Dryden. They offered it to me, but it's like so much work. It's 7 hours long.
Yeah,
like the audiobook is 7 hours long. I'm not sitting in a studio and talking for 7 hours.
So how long did it come out?
How long? So the book itself came out right around the same time I got parole. I got parole in April 2022. So I wrote the whole book in jail. It came out right before I got parole. I get parole. I come out. And the audiobook just came out this month, August 2023.
Damn, that's crazy. So
when you were in jail writing it, where niggas saying shit like, oh, look at this nigga, he thinks he's smart.
Nobody believed me. They're like, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm writing my memoir. They're like, yeah, all right. Good luck with that.
Classic. We've seen this before. What are you writing it on, man? Toilet paper?
Yeah. That was literally, I'm like in my room scratching away. They're like, oh, he's back up to his old tricks again.
Did anyone ever think that like maybe you're going through like a mental health thing? Like, did any of the guards say like, oh, like, do you have like schizophrenia? Like, usually when people are writing, like
I'm like writing on the walls in my own feces. I'm like chapter 1. No, it's everyone knew who I was. Like, my name is super Googleable. Thank you to the National Post. So it's actually like one of the things you do in jail is you Google people to find out if they are who they say they are.
Yeah.
So especially if you have some kind of crazy story and it's like, oh, what are you here for? And they look at me and I'm like, I'm here for trafficking 40 kilograms of cocaine into Australia. They're like, get the fuck out of here. No, you're not. What's your name? I'll be right back.
No one's buying it.
No, facts, because like, yeah, you have to screen everybody, know who you're sleeping with, you know?
Well, we don't do that in jail, but yeah.
Not
sleeping with was crazy. That's a crazy one.
Fire.
That's meant to say next to, but even then, let's not talk about it. All right, so it's called Bad Trips. Do you feel like people take it as like, oh, like bad drug trips? Like they think it's a book about like tripping and shit?
Well, I don't want to explain metaphors to the rapper, but it's both things.
Okay.
It's the bad trips that we all went on to Australia that led to people going to jail and coming out. But it's also the bad trips that come from doing drugs, because I never really did drugs until I started working at Vice.
Okay.
Even now, like, I don't do drugs. I did mushrooms once since I've been out of jail. Mm-hmm. And other than that, it's just edibles.
This guy Jimmy's just trying to persuade me to do shrooms on the pod with him once.
Bro, the other day I did shrooms.
Bro, definitely not on the pod.
I've never done it. This guy's like, bro, you have to open your mind.
Hey, listen. I have a chocolate bar at home right now. If I bring you 1 square, you'll be good. But the other day I did 3. Oh, my God. Bro, my face was melting, bro. My face was melting. I swear to God. I wish I could have seen myself on camera.
Yeah, you know what the hack to that is you have to get like blackout drunk, and then right before you go to bed from being too drunk, you have to take shrooms. So then you go through your entire shroom trip while you're asleep, and you wake up with that post-high clarity that you get without having to have had trip out.
I like the trip though.
Yeah,
I like the
it's a little
trip.
bit like Stolen Valor.
Is shrooms an upper or a downer, like technically?
It's a psychedelic, brother.
Psychedelics are
It's a
separate?
third thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a drug guy, so I'm asking the questions.
Okay, a psychedelic is gonna be
No,
like.
I know what a psychedelic is. I just didn't know if like there's uppers and downers.
Oh,
type
okay,
shit,
okay.
like, you know?
Fair enough.
'Cause I know like alcohol, they say is a downer,
Yeah, it is.
and it's like when you mix it with uppers, apparently it's like that's when you're like the uppers are the most effective. Like when you do like coke or like Molly and shit while you're drunk, it's like the best time to do it.
Yeah.
You can do psychedelics with either. I've done mushrooms drunk, and I've done them while doing coke, and they still hit. Either way.
So is it
I like
trip?
to smoke a little weed after.
Because I've heard like because Molly's an upper,
Yeah.
right? Because Molly's a drug,
for sure.
but Molly also makes you trip, right?
Not that same type of way. Molly makes
Doesn't
you
make you
trip.
hallucinate.
Yeah, it just gives you so much serotonin that you're like, oh shit, I've never been this happy before.
So are you seeing shit when you're on Molly?
No.
Not even like colors.
No.
You never did Molly?
No, I don't do. Like,
He
I've
doesn't do
only done
drugs.
like
He doesn't
weed.
do drugs.
I've done weed. I've done weed before, obviously, but then I've done coke once when I was.
Even
in
the way
Vegas.
he says I've done weed, that's how you know he doesn't do no drugs.
No, I don't smoke like often, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't like how weed. Like,
I did one weed once.
no. Like when I was in high school and shit, I used to smoke like a good. I wouldn't say a lot because I know niggas that smoke every day, but it's like I smoked a good amount. But I didn't like smoking because like it made me lazy. Like I actually like. I feel like I'm in molasses. Like when I stay in a position, I want to stay in that position forever. And then the second I move, like I feel my body like constricting back to like what it was.
Yeah, don't ever do Xanax.
That's what I'm saying. Like I have bad reactions with weed. And then it's like the last time I ever like got high, we were at the cottage, and my boy made it was like garlic bread edibles. He's like, we made garlic bread, put a bunch of weed on it, and I ate it. And then everyone was like, yeah, just make sure you eat one. I'm like, bro, I don't feel shit after like 15 minutes. So then I ate 2 more, and I greened out. Like I literally passed the fuck out, like in the middle of the room, like when everybody just still like chilling. I'm like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not for me.
Gotta be careful with edibles. Anything that's edible. What about you? Tell us about some of your shroom trips.
Oh, buddy, like a lot of the times you'll just be doing shrooms and then you lay flat on your back and look at the clouds and you'll see like a full movie take place. Like a beginning, middle, end. Like characters come out, like the clouds become things. That's the best thing to do is take shrooms and lay down there in the sun and look up at the clouds. But mushrooms are like a mid-tier thing. Like there's some good drugs and there's some bad drugs.
Trust me, I understand all of that because I listen to Joe Rogan. You know, like
Right.
talk about like DMT and like what's the there was another one that's supposed to like
Ayahuasca.
no, not
So
ayahuasca.
ketamine?
Yeah,
I
the
don't
K-hole.
fuck with
That's what I was thinking about.
I do
K-holes.
not- that
would
But apparently
ketamine is
that one's supposed to be
bottom
like he had his friend that took it on a podcast once and apparently lived like a 15-year life in 10 minutes. Or
What the
something
fuck
like
does that mean?
So
I don't want to do that.
what?
I don't want to do
apparently
that.
went into like a K-hole, and he said he had a whole wife, like a bunch of kids, like he raised them up,
the fuck
and
out
then
of
here.
woke
That's like
up
that
and
Rick and
snapped
Morty
out
I
of
was
it.
about to say, like, you become the guy.
That's what Joe Rogan said that his friend did. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
That's
Like,
what ketamine while watching Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
That's all that
exactly.
is. Because every time I did ketamine, I'm like, oh, I'm disassociated. I don't feel like I'm like in my body. I feel like I'm someone watching someone doing something.
yeah,
I'm
they've
like
done
The Sims.
they've done experiments on that and shit. Like they would test people to do like ketamine, and then like in the top corner on top of a shelf, they'll have the saying, and then when someone says they've had a third person experience, they ask them, did they ever see that saying that's not in your view, but out of perspective? And some people could, some people couldn't.
Really?
Yeah, and when they did, they
That
also
is
did the
crazy.
same
Literally a new
experiment.
perspective.
They did the same
crazy.
experiment in like surgical rooms for when people had near-death experiences, and those people all saw it, which is even scarier.
That is scary.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, like, there's so much metaphysical going on around us. Like, they even say, like, certain animals could see way more than we see because we don't see certain blues and greens and shit like that. And it's like, there's a lot going on around us that we can't even see, like, you know?
When I was in jail, you get a subscription to 2 magazines. I got the New Yorker, and one of the things that I read in the New Yorker was how do animals know where to fly or migrate or whatever. And they were saying the same thing you're saying, but with magnetic fields.
Yeah, magnetic fields. I was
Like
gonna say.
animals can see magnetism, things that we don't even have cameras to see that. We have cameras that could see like thermal energy or
Yeah.
UV light, but magnet waves, no.
Yeah, no, that's insane.
I want to ask you something before we get into your life story about what was like your experience like in jail. You were in jail in Canada, right?
Yeah.
So like, what's like a Canadian jail life like?
So this is gonna. There's no way to really say this without it coming off, but it was like it was fine.
It was chill.
It was chill. I went to minimum security in the middle of COVID.
Yeah. Oh.
Like you could not ask for a better time in our society to have gone to jail.
yeah.
Because I feel like people were shaking it more out here because you're locked out by yourself.
Yeah. At least you had like people in there that you can talk to and shit, right?
Exactly. And you can talk to about how fucked up it is of what's going on. You think Joe Rogan podcast is good? Wait until you're with some guy from fucking Sudbury.
Yeah, because those are the most interesting people.
That is, yes, exactly.
So
And he's in there and he has no one to talk to.
So you have
right?
internet access to TVs.
Absolutely not. You have 2 hours a day on the phone, but you do have TVs. So all of your access to information is literally like the mainstream media. So global news, CTV, CBC.
No, that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
basic cable shit.
Yeah, basic. Well, okay, no, not basic cable. We had HBO and Showtime and Stars and shit
What
too.
the fuck?
They're watching Sopranos.
Power. I watch all of Power. Yeah.
Oh man, because I don't know if you saw this new article, but Pierre Poilievre posted on his Instagram about prisoners in Vancouver are asking for extended stays in prison instead of getting released because they don't want to deal with the housing crisis.
So there's one guy that I talk to every week still who's in jail. He's probably never getting out. He's been there since about 9/11.
In minimum security?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's a librarian there. And he's saying the exact same thing, that guys are shaking it. Everybody's asking to go to the halfway house because the guys there, they want to get out of jail,
Yeah.
but they don't want to like be on their own. It's way too scary.
Yeah.
What if?
Because you're gonna have to figure out how to make some money, and the people you're around with, the background you come from, the way you know how to get money is gonna lead you right back to there.
You're thinking about the real criminals. What about the guy who killed his wife because he was angry 20 years ago?
Oh yeah, he's just I don't know what to do.
Wait, that guy's in minimal.
Those are the guys who. So the guys who end up in minimum are nonviolent first-time offenders, but it can't be all that, right?
Well,
There's not enough.
how's that non-violent?
No,
You
no,
say
no.
in the
not
Part
that.
of it,
Okay,
part of it
yeah.
is nonviolent first-time offenders.
Yeah.
People like me. Those are the best people to do time with because we know we're going home real quick. People on life sentences, the last 2 years of their sentence to get used to society, they put them in minimum because in minimum security, you have to cook your own food and do your own laundry.
Wait,
Yeah, you go grocery shopping and shit.
what?
Go to isitlit.com.
What the fuck? Like you can leave the prison?
No, there's a grocery
Wait,
store.
bro, you don't
on
have
the
to leave the prison.
facility.
Bro, that's not good.
He said you can cook your own food. Like,
But he
come
said
on,
you
brother.
can go grocery shopping. I'm like, what?
They got everything in there.
Yeah, we're gonna pull
Bro,
up the
prison sounds lit.
We're gonna pull up the grocery list.
Bro, I told you this the other day. Some people like it in there.
Nah, bro. Like, the way he's explaining is like, if you were somehow able to import box, like that shit would be fucking lit.
People were importing stuff. I bought a vape pen in there for like
Oh, I was talking about
$400.
like pussy. but-
Yeah.
Well, you can get PFVs and shit, but they can't have a criminal record.
Wait, what's that?
A private family visit.
Oh, so you're fucking your cousin?
Conjugals. You
No,
idiot.
conjugal.
Conjugals. You say it's your wife or your bitch or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. That's fucked up. It's not coming up. Just
Maybe it's .ca.
no, it's definitely .com. That's fucked up. Try www.isitlit.com.
It's all good. Explain it then.
It's pretty much the grocery list. I was gonna pull it up on the screen so we could see how much inmates are paying for stuff.
Oh,
in
maybe it's
jail.
like it's probably like an internal website or something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It only works on their server.
Yeah, on their servers and shit. But it's all good. Let's keep
Yeah,
going.
so pretty much the way that it works is when you have to go grocery shopping, you have to, you get a budget of like $55 from the government every month. And you can use that to buy anything from Parmesan cheese, apples, bananas, green lentils.
I feel like we're treating the prisoners pretty decent because even you said you get 2 magazine subscriptions.
Yeah, but you have to pay for all that stuff yourself.
So when you're working and stuff, they
like
take
I
it
took
out
a
of that?
French course as well, but that's something that you have to pay for through like a private college. Type in Slava Pastuk.
Let's say you're dead
Slava
broke.
P.
Are you when you're working in there, like they make you have a job and stuff? Is it
Yeah.
enough to get the subscriptions and
So
stuff like that?
that's different altogether. So with the money that you get for yourself, yeah, realistically, you could spend that money on a magazine subscription, but more than likely you're spending it on Canteen, which is like $90 for chips and pop and stuff that's not like grocery stuff proper.
Yeah.
It's all right. But that's kind of like what you have to go through. So you are already getting yourself groceries, and then you have to be released, and you're like, wait, shit is more expensive than what I'm
Yeah,
used
that's
to.
what I was looking at those prices. I was about to say when you were done. Like that shit's cheaper than fucking Metro.
Yeah. So
Like-
how are you going to tell someone to go from that to being like, all right, go live in
Who
Brampton
pays
now?
that? Like
Hey, we pay taxes, right?
no shot. So you guys are getting like an allowance.
Yeah, it's $55 a week that rolls over. So some guys can go like months without spending their entire budget, and then at the end of it, they just get a bunch of steaks for everyone. And there's barbecues, so we'll have like for
Yeah.
my birthday, we did a big barbecue thing, and we got a bunch of steaks, fried everyone up. There's picnic tables, you got the music blasting. It was
Bro,
fun.
prison is lit.
And don't be so like oh, our taxes, like regardless they would have to feed them. So if they were to feed them themselves, it would still cost money. It was just they just leave it to them so they're integrating back into society, right?
That's true.
If anything, they have to make better use of the labor force there, because the jobs that I'm telling you about are just like maintaining the prison. So a big popular job during COVID was like polishing doorknobs and door handles. So it's like, all right, fuck, I guess we'll just have them like walk around and
just
do
walk
this.
around and do that.
And like you come out and you're like, I've spent 25 years in jail. What'd you learn?
Did you guys have to wear masks and shit in there?
Yeah, but like, bro, good luck telling inmates to follow the rules.
Of course. But I was like, like, what would the rule be about that? Because it's like, you guys are all already in there, right?
So that's the thing is like, if you tell an inmate, first of all, you can't have hoodies. You can get shit sent in, but you can't get a hoodie, and you can't get a hoodie because it covers your face. So when they tell people you can get a mask, some guys are going, don't fucking tell me what to do. I'm not doing that. Yeah. Other guys are like, Dud, you don't know who I am. Yeah. I'm running to the road. I'm grabbing this Henny bottle, and I'm coming back, and you won't be able to find out who I am.
That's hilarious.
So people's attitudes to masks depended on the people, just like here.
Is your perspective on jail completely changed, or did you kind of see this before you went in? Like,
so when I got like arrested originally, the guy who was doing the best time in the bullpen was the guy who just got sentenced. Yeah. So I was just talking his ear off. I'm like, what? Like, why are you so happy? He's like, I got an 8-year sentence. Like, and you're happy about that? Like, break this down for me. Yeah. He goes, brother, nonviolent criminal record. He's some guy from Windsor. He's like, I'm nonviolent, no criminal record, and I'm going to do like 18 months, and I'm going to go to camp. I'm like, camp? What's camp? He's like, it's minimum security prison. There's 3 of them in Ontario.
That's wild.
I've been to 2.
Bro, that like this is mind blowing to me. I thought like prison should be something you'd never want to go to. This sounds
I don't want
like
to go back.
No,
bro,
of
yeah,
course,
a lot of people don't want to go there. You're okay, bro. Think about everything you have going on. Like if you have a girl, if you have kids and shit, you're took away from all.
Bro,
that.
I have friends that I have a friend that literally joined the army because he couldn't afford rent type shit. So he joined the army so he can get food and shit paid to him while having a little bit like of a job. And it's like, why would you ever do that when you can just go to jail in this situation? You know what I mean? And it's like you get $55 a week, just don't eat.
Yeah, well, guys,
bro, I mean,
that stuff you get, you don't get to take that money.
Oh, you don't get to take that.
And plus, bro, like, what the same thing? Like, why not just be on welfare if it's so easy? It's like,
well, this sounds better than welfare.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying people like to strive for things.
Well, if you're on welfare, you're not, like, yeah, I get it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like the same reason why you would say, well, a minimum wage job, you actually make more money on welfare than a minimum wage job.
Okay, but let me put it in this perspective then. If you're in the hood and you're trapping, it's like, why would you ever try to go get a job at like a concierge job where you're getting $15, $16 an hour when you can just do illegal shit, and if you ever get caught, do illegal shit, make a lot of money, and if you ever do get caught, you're gonna be living better than you're already living in the hood.
Yeah,
we're like following my reverse mentality here. When I got the job at Vice, they were paying $37,000 a year. Yeah.
All right, so let's start your story then.
At McDonald's.
I got all my prison questions out. Let's start. Tell us about your journey, about what the book's about from the beginning. Like, I want to hear all of it.
Well, we're not going to go. So,
not the whole book, obviously, but I want to hear the story.
No, so I was born. Thank you. It's up on the screen in case I forget. June 1990. I was born in Kiev, which is crazy because nobody knew where that was up until like 2 years ago. And now everyone's like, I love Kiev. It's so great. But I came here when I was 4. We moved to Victoria Park. I ended up moving up north, like to Barrie, Ontario. That's where I went to high school, so that's where you're from. You're from wherever you went to high school.
I agree.
Yeah.
Then I moved downtown, and I'm working like marketing jobs, but I really want to do something on the side that lets me go to concerts for free. So I start writing about music. As a result of writing about music, I write some negative things about certain concerts, and that leads to my profile going up online.
Wow, really?
That's how things work, unfortunately.
More clicks, right? More negativity, more clicks.
The negativity towards one particular concert, and then reporting on a shooting that happened at a Young Jeezy concert at Sound Academy, which that got picked up by like the New York blogs. This is like back when Twitter was still a way to network.
Yeah.
So that ends up leading to me getting a job at Vice because they're opening up Noisy, which is their music vertical. They're opening up a Toronto office for it, and they wanted me to be the editor. So I sign on to do that job. And it was a huge haircut in terms of like, I worked in tech before this, like doing marketing and stuff. So it was a lot less salary, but that's like the lifestyle I wanted. I'm 22, 23 years old in Toronto.
Yeah, and you get
after coming from Barrie.
And you get to go to all the biggest shows. You get the media pass.
Yeah.
Not only do you get the media pass, but there's also another world of Vice that you get to be invited into. Vice parties, hang out with Vice people, Vice personalities.
Like you went to like Vice New York headquarters and stuff like that?
All the time.
That's crazy.
All the time.
Back then, Vice was the shit.
That's right.
Did you ever meet like Tim Pool when he was working there?
That's the guy. That's your Vice guy?
That's my guy. Yeah, I like his podcast. I listen to him all the time.
I met Shane. I met Eddie a lot, and Sarush. Sarush was always in the Toronto ones. Those are like the main guys who you probably see on camera. The people that are there now are like former Disney
They're all
staffers.
fired now, right? Like, isn't it? It went bankrupt.
It's a rotation.
Yeah.
They went bankrupt, and then the debt got bought by a company that's run by George Soros.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we'll see what happens now. But it's nice for me because like my stuff stays online. There's certain writers who, if you go back through their portfolio, that stuff's just gone. So For as long as Soros keeps it alive, you can see me.
Okay, so there's something I seen on your wiki page, and we got to clear this up, man. It says you used to sell weed to people that you met on Grindr.
Right.
Is that just genius, or what's that about?
Well, I don't know if you know what Grindr is, but
I know what Grindr is.
How you know what Grindr is?
What do you mean?
Grindr's an app for people who are on their grind.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. So I got this job at Vice. I'm not getting paid any money, but there's this other guy who works there who like throws parties. I do that a few times with him, and I'm like, bro, this isn't really going anywhere. I'm not trying to stay up till like 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. So can we just like buy me out of this situation? He bought me out.
The Vice situation?
No. This guy I met at Vice, we're throwing parties.
Oh, so you guys had a contract together or something?
no, they're just doing events. They're just doing events.
Yeah, you're gonna edit this, right?
Yeah.
Remember-
Yeah.
So and I started throwing these parties, but they're Tuesday parties, and I'm like working. Didn't care about that job. He got fired like 3 weeks after. But I'm like, I'm trying to maintain employment here.
Yeah.
So me this party stay woke, and then I'm like, I don't want to be part of this anymore. Can you buy me out? He bought me out with a half pound of flour.
Okay.
So I need to get rid of this flour somehow. I'm on Tinder.
Wait. So have you ever like sold drugs before this point?
No,
So-
this was like my introduction to selling drugs.
So this is very key
So wait,
information.
no,
All
why-
drug culture in my life started at this at Vice.
But
I'm
so,
just saying, Vice is kind of like the gateway working place for selling drugs.
No, I have a question then. So it's like, why would you accept that as a payment if you never moved it before?
Because that's like selling drugs is easy. I bought drugs my whole life. I'm sure I could sell them. I know what's important. You just got to be on time. That's really it all comes down to that. Set realistic expectations of like that's what I hate when I'm buying drugs.
Yeah.
So if I just sell drugs with that twist, I'll be fine. But I don't have any clients. I'm new to the city. I go on Tinder, and I'm not really getting any like no one's interested in like matching with a guy.
Yeah.
So I switched my thing around, my sexuality around, and I'm like, I'm looking
So
for
you were
guys
on Grindr.
I was on Tinder first. Oh yeah. You thought there was another Grindr app?
Hilarious.
Oh no.
I knew it.
Did I give it away?
Yeah.
So I'm on Tinder, and I get banned because I'm hitting all the guys that match with me with, yo, I'm not gay, I'm just here to sell you weed. So I make it on Tinder. I remember literally like leaving my Parkdale apartment being like so optimistic, like, yo, I'm about to become like a plug. This is gonna be great. And I go to the Drake Hotel for a show, and then I like have a few beers, walking home, open up Tinder, and it's like, yeah, your account is banned. Like, fuck, bro. There goes my genius idea. What am I gonna do now?
Can we just take a second to like appreciate that this guy was doing it to girls? No one reported him, but then he goes to guys and the gays report him.
Snitches.
Kind of wild.
Stay solid, boys.
The things that this guy notices.
Bro, it's like what kind of person would go out of their way to report this guy's selling me weed?
So a horny
Bro,
guy.
yeah, a horny guy who's looking for dick and is mad because he's only finding weed. Like, what are you talking about, bro?
I probably made some guy's night. He saw that notification pop up, like, oh my god, he messaged me.
Yeah, and he's definitely thinking,
And then he's like,
he's my
"Fuck this
type.
guy."
Yeah, because I have the same pictures I do with the girls. When I go back on Grindr, I'm like, oh, I understand how this game works. On Grindr, I don't have it on my phone, or I'd show you, but it's pretty much a torso. It's like a grid of torsos.
Yeah.
Because it works by location. There's no swiping. It's literally just a grid of guys, and it's like this guy is 16 meters away. This
Oh,
guy is
really?
20 meters away.
That's fucked up.
It is fucked up, but it's sick for selling weed. Because
I
I'm
must be
sitting.
saying miles, not meters.
No,
No, meters. Bro,
Yeah,
if you're in an
Oh, like
apartment
you're in a
building
party or some shit,
or an
right?
apartment building.
Yeah.
So they're above you, below you, or one of these
Damn.
apartments nearby.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
That is amazing for weed. For
You
just
do
drug
see
dealing?
some nuts too, yeah.
Like people just smoke instead of their body, they just have their schlongo?
Some people got some sack going, yeah.
God
Because that's the
damn.
other good thing about Grindr is that you don't need to verify your email address, so you can keep making new accounts. So you get banned as many times as you want. You just make a new account.
So you were getting banned on Grindr too?
All the time.
So the gays just didn't like you.
They just don't like the teas, I guess.
Wait,
but
what's
when I was
the what?
The tea, no,
The
I-
teas.
the
Oh,
teas,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Like they want dick, but they
yeah.
get weed instead, and they get upset.
Some of them like, but here's the thing: is the customers that did lock down, I was only on Grindr for like 2 months until I built out a roster of dudes. And
Yo, I almost
Yo,
spit on you.
super pause on the whole podcast right now. Hold on.
Bro, if you were just walking
Treading
out of
some
a mouthful of
crazy
water when you said that
territory
shit.
right now.
But listen, if
Holy.
you got a weed dealer who came over to your house and it's this beautiful woman who's just your type, and she gives you some flour and she flirts with you a little bit, she doesn't touch you, didn't touch anybody.
So you were playing gay though.
I wasn't playing anything. I was myself. I was doing the same thing I'm doing now. I can't help it if someone caught feelings.
No, honestly, it's genius. It's a lot of free game for the people out there. How did it get discovered that that's in your Wikipedia? How did that come out?
It's in the book.
Oh, okay.
All of this stuff is in the book. Someone just summarized the book.
Nice.
No. Take this down. What is this? That's the other fucked up thing. We'll get to it, but $20 million. It wasn't $20 million. That's insane.
No, yeah, just close.
Oh, they're saying like the street value of shit?
Yeah, come on.
Bro, I hate when they find a pound of weed in the ocean. They're like, oh yeah, street value of this is $10,000. It's like,
Crazy.
bro, like, what are you doing?
But yeah, so now I'm selling drugs on Grindr, working at Vice.
Okay, yeah, at that point.
Then
yeah.
I meet Jimmy.
Grindr?
No.
Wait.
Period.
I see what you're trying to do
There's a hard
there.
period at the end of that.
There was no
Put a
period.
big
That was a
pause on
continuous
that.
sentence.
Nah, I don't know what he's talking about. I see what you tried to do there, but I don't know what he's talking about.
No, but that was a really interesting time in the city to have been working at Vice because a lot of interesting things were happening with the culture and music. This is post Nothing Was the Same, but pre that Beauty Behind the Madness from The Weeknd.
That like the weekend at that like when the weekend and the Drake blew up and the amount of like small creators like Jimmy size or bigger or smaller, like there were so many of them that were all have movements behind them because that's even when like Tory Lanez came out because Tory Lanez was like right after you.
No,
Before you? I swear he was doing the freestyles before you, but then he never actually made music.
He was doing a lot. He was doing a lot.
He was? So I just never checked in. But then you had like the Six Letter, you had Raz Fresco, you had all those guys.
There was a lot. There was a lot in the city.
There was actually a really cool collective happening that never ended up coming through of guys in Kensington Market. But the interesting thing about that was all these guys you're naming are all downtown guys.
Yeah.
Which you don't even see in Toronto anymore. Right now it seems to have
Everyone's
spread a little
Mississauga.
bit.
Yeah.
Well, even
Mississauga or like certain hoods like Northside Jane and Finch or Regent Park, like those places have a bubbling core, but the actual core, like there's a Kingston Market group. You guys were
I call them 88 Glam, no? The Kensington Market guys?
plus Jazz Cartier.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like the three of them were supposed to be a trio, and collectively they all go on to do something impressive, but collectively they could have been something great.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I feel like those like hoods, like North Ontario hoods, like they all had music scenes. Like they just would never collab with the downtown guys, so their scene was separate, right? Because like who's the guy from VO that he went to jail? I forget what his name is though. Yeah, but he was like a huge rapper at my time because I was going to Oakwood and everybody knew this guy and I forget what his name is. Juan in Oakwood.
What's that?
No, I'm gonna forget it. It's whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember for the life of me who you're talking about.
Yeah, but no, he was huge. I forget, but he was in my opinion at the time when I was in high school, the biggest underground Toronto artist. But that's only because he was local to that area, right?
Well, see, this is the other reason I blew up because I was the only person talking about these guys who had these like $1 million YouTube videos, but they're from Toronto that nobody else is talking about. Specifically, the first rapper I wrote about was Roni, who's a guy from Regent Park, and nobody was talking about him, and I said, hey, this guy's getting millions of views. He's from Toronto. He's 16 years old. Yeah. So stuff like that went a long way to people recognizing the legitimacy of the scene.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It needs more of that because it's like he's saying, a lot of guys will be pretty big, but they don't really get that light shown on them sometimes.
But we have more publications than ever before. Like we don't have Noisy, but we have so many sixes.
So what do you think?
I know, right? It's ridiculous.
So what do you think? Like you and Vice were doing, Noisy as a group, as a collective was doing, that was so much better than what media outlets are doing today.
Well, I don't. So here's the interesting thing is I don't think we developed any artists as a result of my time at Noisy Canada. I think we tried. I think we definitely gave guys the biggest opportunities we could, and a lot of people made of that what they will. I mean, a really good example of this is a guy named Murda Beats.
Yeah.
Murda Beats is a guy that we were very early on, and the headline that I used is one that he would use in his resume going forward forever. And it was one that was kind of done in jest, but not really. We called Murda Beats the Canadian King of Trap Music. Or the king of Canadian trap music.
And he is.
And he is now. When we wrote that, we were being a little bit facetious.
Okay, fair enough. But he was like the only guy working with those Southern trap artists.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was extremely white too. Extremely white.
And now we're getting into like what Vice really promoted during my tenure, like Riff Raff, Action Bronson, those types of guys. They're rappers you don't really see of a lot anymore.
But they all had huge followings.
Because of the fact that they were able to lean into the audience that also enjoyed the Canadian King of Trap music.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it all feeds off each other. And that's just what I mean. Like, I would just like to see more, like right now, like you said, with a lot of the six blogs, they're on it. Like, you know, they're super on everything in the culture. But I would like to see it more from some of these mainstream media outlets.
I feel like Toronto artists back then, though, like 10 years ago, had outside of Toronto reach, or outside of like Canada reach. I don't think a lot of Toronto artists today have outside of Canada reach.
But even if you look at that, it's almost like a thing in the industry in general. Like Fader doesn't really exist anymore. Like so many things that people used to use as outlets, like don't really exist anymore.
I feel like Twitter kind of eliminated them. It like not direct competition, but a third party like source of information,
That,
right?
Bro, just think about how many people come up like let's say academics who start like being a journalist on music for free, and it's like he's not looking for a job, he's doing it himself, he's creating the content. Bro, if I'm looking for a job and there's another guy doing it for free, and it's like my company's just gonna take wind of what's going on, be like, why are we paying this guy when everyone's out here doing this for free? Let's just go find some young kid to do it for free too, or else let's just get out of this game. Because how are we gonna keep on paying people and it's not generating any money?
But that's kind of like the whole music industry right now too, right? Because it's like since streaming and stuff, you kind of see like the quality of music going down because these labels have to pay so much to make sure that the product is so good that you don't get like the natural talents anymore.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't want to say natural talents, but you don't get like those.
Like, okay, this is how I would want to
diamond in
describe
the
it, bro.
roughs. Because
if I give you some pure Jerry juice right now, right, and it's at the bottom of the bottle, right? Because that's only a few artists. It's gonna be like high quality. But once I start adding a bunch of water, which is YouTube and iTunes and TuneCore, and you just anyone could just upload music now, it starts to get more and more watered down.
I would beg to differ on that, just because like think about like something like SoundCloud, like prime SoundCloud days. There was thousands, tens of thousands of artists uploading daily.
Yes,
but then you still found the Juice WRLD. You still found the XXS.
No matter what you say, if there was tens of thousands back then, it's millions now. It's been growing. And listen. When SoundCloud was new, people were still so excited, like, oh, I could go and use SoundCloud to upload my music. It was still a new thing, but a lot of people who were just artists were like, oh, it's easier for me to upload my music now. Now people are like, bro, I could just record anything and upload it to SoundCloud or YouTube or whatever. It's just become more watered down. So I understand what you were saying, that back then it was already beginning to get watered down. It was a half full bottle. Now it's all the way watered down. Like it's all the way watered down.
And the bottle's getting bigger.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I feel like the cream will always rise to the top. I feel
yeah,
like,
of course.
The interesting thing is like there doesn't seem to be a lot of money in music. Like you probably know that getting a million views on YouTube doesn't make you a rich person.
Yeah.
But I can tell you from firsthand experience working for a music brand is the lifestyle that companies want to buy into. So the people who do have the money, the beer companies, the soft drink companies, the energy drink companies, they want to buy into the music subculture. So it's kind of weird that the culture is fueled by a thing that doesn't make money.
Well, it's because of the live events, right?
But it's just like they want you to associate having a good time with their product.
Yeah.
So see, like me and Jimmy's talking about this too, because it's like people don't really, like the biggest artists today don't really do tours. Like I shouldn't say like other than the A-list, right? So like if you got like a Lil Baby's not doing like a stadium tour because I don't think he's able to sell a stadium tour. He has to do these festivals with like 10 other artists to be able to sell to 30,000 people.
Always been like that.
But yeah, stadium tour is not the only metric for success.
No, but even like look, if Lil Baby came to Toronto, where would he be? Like you think Lil Baby's doing Budweiser?
15,000.
I don't know.
Either
I don't
that
think
or
so.
by the docks there.
Well, maybe that's what I was thinking.
What it's called now?
I was thinking Rebel. Yeah, I was thinking like he would do Rebel, and that's only like 2,000 people, 3,000 people.
But he would sell the fuck out of it. He could do that 10 nights in a row.
Like,
obviously not 10 nights in a row, but literally 3 nights in a row and sell it out all 3 nights.
But the question is,
but he
more
is like one of the
newer.
biggest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What does a newer artist do? Like you can't really do that. You can't really.
Well, Lil Baby is very new. That's why I only bring up Lil Baby now because he got huge during COVID.
Yeah.
To the point where like he's kind of at the top of the game, but you can never like he's the best example of you'll hear his music everywhere, but you'll never see him have a show, which is like the weirdest disconnect because like what you're saying, these labels are not labels, these companies want to buy into the product, so then like you can enjoy the time with it. It's like if you have Red Bull signed to Lil Baby, then at the concert it's only gonna be Red Bull. But it's
well, Slava, I know you have a lot of personal experience. Like, what would you say like from when you went away to when you came back? What do you notice is like the huge differences in the music?
How long were you gone for first?
So I was gone 28 months, but I left Toronto for 2 years before that. So really, I haven't been in the city paying attention to it for about 10 years now.
How many?
10.
Okay.
You said 2.5, like
so 2.5. I went to 2.5. I went to jail. Then like 3 years I was in Montreal.
Oh, okay. You just weren't in Toronto.
The story came out in 2017, but I didn't get arrested till like 2019. So I had to I moved to Montreal and changed my name and got like a new identity, and I was like just living a different type of life.
That's crazy. So you really lived a movie.
Well, yeah.
Like Catch Me If You Can type shit.
It's a book for now.
Yeah, but it's an audiobook. Yeah, no, I mean, the Montreal stuff isn't very interesting, but I just say that to say that it has been a while. Do you mean within Toronto or
Yeah. Being like around, like, you know?
Toronto, downtown is dead. That's really like my take.
I agree.
And I don't know how that happened. I guess it's like too expensive to live there and also be a creator or an artist now. But it drifted away a little bit because guys can make quality stuff in their bedroom.
Yeah.
And that's been the case even when we were around. But now you don't even need to go outside and like get your music out there. Just make something on TikTok.
Yeah,
that is outside now.
I guess.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy you say that, bro, because it's like a lot of times I'll see people be like, oh, the streets is talking. And it's like they literally mean the fucking internet.
Comment section's crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy to me. It's like, bro, like almost like the streets is like dead. Like, you know, more or less, obviously it still is what it is, but I'm just saying that you see less and less of it. And the younger generation is more just like, nigga, I don't got to be outside. Like, I'm just going to be on the internet. And that's how they take it. Like, that is the new outside for them.
Yeah, it's impossible to hear new music anywhere that doesn't involve a phone now. So you need to be somewhat connected. You're not really going to be walking around like a roller rink and you're going to be like, what song is that? Like, oh, I'm going to discover a new artist out there.
Or take a CD from somebody on the road. Because if someone hands me a CD, the next time I'm even around a CD player, it could be days. It could be days.
I'll take it one farther. If you walk through the mall, everybody's playing, every store is playing a different Drake song.
Yeah,
depending on 100%. Their mood.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it's an angry Drake song, sometimes it's one of the like dancey Drake songs. But it's all the same fucking artist, you know, in the entire mall.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we live now. The algorithm has made it so like everything is flat now.
Yeah. Or even when there is a new artist, it kind of gets over pushed. Like, I love Ice Spice, but she's a little bit too much everywhere. And now the next one is Sexy Red. Bro, I was in the car yesterday, and I was in the car only for like an hour and a half, and 3 Sexy Red songs came on.
On where?
On the radio, 93.7 WBLK. And I'm there with my daughter in the back, and she's talking about popping her pussy and how it's brown and shit or whatever the fuck color it is.
Brown now?
I don't know what she said.
That's a remix.
But all I'm saying is I had to turn that shit off quick. And it's just like, yeah, like, a lot of that is just like, man, they try to like push people into the spotlight so fast. It's like, let it grow organically, you know?
But they're also pushing garbage. Like I was saying on the drive here, we were listening to Donda, and I was like, there hasn't been a good album since Donda.
Yeah.
Like,
but what he said is a huge factor in that, bro. The interest behind the music want it to be on some like fun shit. So you don't really get a lot of like,
you don't get a rock
content.
star anymore. There's no rock stars, like, you know what I mean? So like, even like the pursuit of being an artist isn't even what it used to be. It's like if someone was to tell me like you can be Travis Scott, I'm like, Travis Scott's kind of a weird dude. I wouldn't want to be Travis Scott, like, you know what I mean? And that's a rock star today.
Yeah.
It's like I would want to live the life of like Jay-Z back then. I would want to live the life of like Michael Jackson. It's like today you don't have that shit. You don't have
the life of Michael Jackson.
You want to live the life of Michael Jackson?
Yeah, but while he was still black.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
well, he's fucked up because they say his life was so shit.
Bro, like, that's all perspective.
Okay.
Imagine being that rich. Like, I just wouldn't have that fucked up life.
Okay, I was actually just talking about this earlier, man. I think sometimes people get so caught up with, if I was that rich. Do you realize the responsibilities that come with being that person? You have no time to yourself.
That's not true.
All right.
Just go buy an island and have all the time you want. The fuck?
Like Little St. James Island or something. Yeah, I see. You live out your Michael Jackson fantasies. Well, the weird thing about it,
get on Grindr out there, bro.
I feel like the problem is like music isn't owned by musicians or even record labels anymore. It's owned by tech companies, and tech companies don't see music the way that other people did. They probably see it closer to like how we see mushrooms. Where it's like, this is something that you can take to make yourself feel a certain way. Oh, do you want to be happy? Put on this playlist. And the way to achieve that happiness is not by having someone listen to an 8-song EP with like a solid intro that builds to like a solid single in the middle and then a good outro. It's like a Burna Boy song where you can go like this to.
Yeah.
Or like a passion fruit type of song.
No, for sure.
And then another one like that, and then another one like that,
right.
and another one like that. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So that's why labels are going to be prioritizing, the Afro beats or the dance hall stuff because it's instant, right? It's
Instant
not,
gratification.
Yeah, it's not rap.
But it's also like, I feel like playlists though, like I get exactly what you're saying. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I feel like playlists is more of the reason why music is dead.
But those playlists are tied to feelings.
But it's like when you're like half the time you're listening to playlists, you don't even check who this artist is. You be like, I like this song.
No, I'll be checking, especially when I like it. I make sure I download it.
I guess if you like it, but if it's just like a pass through song, you're not like, you know what I mean? And it's like that artist, yeah, he gets that one stream, but it's like he's not going to get his returning customers. But when you're selling albums and people are like, I like this album. Oh, this obviously I know this album is done by X.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go.
And with that being said, a lot of what ruins certain things, like people be like, oh, like the music industry is fucked right now, and it's like no one takes that blame. Where it's like it's the consumers that usually mess it up. Like obviously the artist is just trying to appease what the consumers' needs are, right? So when you see a lot of this, like right now, even consumers themselves, if you ask someone who their favorite artist is, every couple of weeks it changes.
Oh,
something was in those vaccines, bro. Why does everybody love Taylor
what do you
Swift
mean?
so
She's
much?
been the GOAT. Stop this. Stop
like
this.
this.
I never took no vaccine.
Whatever they're doing,
crazy.
it's working. Whatever she's doing, it's working.
But that's the only thing that I can think people would automatically agree on. If you're like, what's your favorite artist? Quick.
Yeah, Taylor Swift. Yeah. No one will say anything to you. Like, all right, you're one of us.
You're good. That's the test. That's the litmus test.
But yeah, I was gonna say though, I just feel like with stuff like that in general, like being human is gonna become more and more important, bro. Like we see so much of this AI stuff on the rise, and I say it to you all the time, it's inevitable. But it's like the actual human experience is going to become more and more important. Especially like look at a lot of these influencers, bro. Like you're gonna start to wonder if some of these people are robots, and that's the type of conspiracies you see popping up. People
Well,
like, is this person a
already,
clone?
right?
Yeah, is this person a clone? Are they a robot? Are they a lizard? Because it's like,
This guy said, "Are they a lizard?"
bro, you don't really see like that human experience pushed a lot, right? So being human is very undervalued right
For the
now.
artist, you think it's going to be more important for the musician to be human?
No, I think it's going to be more important for the consumer to be more human with how they absorb things. Like you said, actually listening to a whole EP, taking the time to feel all the feelings as
that'd be
opposed to being
nice.
like, I want to dance right now, so I'm just going to put on a dance playlist. And it's like, you know, what happened to people actually sitting there and listening to music on their own, or like, you know, going to the gym and doing stuff? People say they do it, but yeah, these playlists and stuff and these algorithms are just taking everything over, right?
Well, I would say like the fact that, like what I was saying before, you want to be a rock star. It's like you can't be a rock star in today's age because the rock stars are supposed to be like hard to contact, right? Like you're supposed to only see them when they're outside. Like if they're living their day to day, you don't know shit.
Yeah.
But now to be like a big artist, you have to go on these podcasts. You have to be like in this video. Like you have to do like a bunch of different things like on social media to stay like relevant in people's faces.
You're right for the most part, and it's sad because most people follow that trend, and like we get this perception that everyone's doing it, so that's how you do it. But brother, just think back a few years ago when the Weeknd came out, and I understand that it was a different time, 100%. But everything that everyone else was doing, he was not doing. Up until this day, I don't think I've ever seen an interview from him. So it's just like, yeah, you could stand out and be unique, and it's actually that much better. He's the biggest artist in the world.
But he also had Take Care, right? So it's like he had the huge jumping off platform that
I don't know him from Take Care. I know him from House of Balloons.
Well,
Which was
like,
posted on the October's very own blogspot.
yeah, so it's like I knew, like the first time I ever heard of The Weeknd was when people were saying, "Oh, Drake's Ghostwriter, whatever," and I was like, okay. And then I heard his like I don't think it was House of Balloons I heard first. I think it was
But regardless, everything that
Yeah.
you're saying doesn't have anything to do with like
But it's
the
a no. I'm
marketing
saying,
side of things.
but I'm saying like to get out there, you have to be like
you have to do shit. Yeah, you have to do shit for sure.
Like
But I'm
he
just saying-
had the
I'm
biggest
just saying,
jumping
like,
platform you can get
for sure. All I'm saying is that right now everyone's on this like even from some of my favorite artists, I see them do certain podcasts or certain blogs and stuff. I'm just like, I actually don't need that from you at all. If anything, now I like you a little less.
Right.
Like, you know, it's like
I know.
just
I
be
think that's
yourself.
just you. I think a lot like your average person will hear like Lil Yachty on a podcast and say, "I'm gonna go listen to Lil Yachty." I don't really like his music, but I like him, so I'm gonna just like get through this album. Okay, this album wasn't for me. Never gonna listen to it again.
Bro,
But still
that's
listen.
fine. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't need to do those things. You don't need to do those things. And if anything, when everyone starts doing it, now it's like, oh, you guys all just want to be famous. You're not doing it for any artistic reason. You're just doing it because that's what you have to do to be famous.
I think it's always what it's been. It's like if it's not a podcast, it's a late night show.
But that's what I'm saying to you. The Weeknd is the biggest artist in the world, and he never did any of that.
But like everybody else has, like you're naming one person.
But that's what I'm saying. When you are the one person who stands out, it makes you that
okay,
much
so like
better.
if we're talking about the one-offs, okay. But yeah, let's get back. No, because it's
Well,
like
sorry, there is a lot to be said about what people get attracted to. They get attracted to the counterculture. That's what musician tries to sell, or that's what Vice tries to sell.
and Rolling Stones, all those like blog pages.
And it's hard to be countercultural because to truly be a countercultural musician, you're not online. And if you're truly not online, then there's no way anybody's going to hear your music.
I agree.
What like the best musician could be sitting out in front of a Detroit McDonald's playing blues guitar.
Yeah.
But he would just never have access to the audience because he's not online. So you need to play the game if you want to be successful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just play it your own way is all I'm saying. Is that's the best of the best. But of course, if you're just another artist, yeah, you have to do all these things these days. You have
that
to
the
go on the
last
blogs. You have
megastar?
to go on the podcast. That I would say that grew organically. Yes.
No, just like objectively.
I
think
so.
Ice Spice right now is a
No,
megastar.
stop this.
Ice Spicy.
Stop this. He's
Bro,
in love
I've
with
been
her.
hearing her everywhere. At the end of the
not-
Barbie movie, you know who the first
That
voice
is
I heard?
crazy. That is
Ice
crazy,
Spice.
yeah.
But
And
you're
she
not-
just came out last year.
But you're not gonna put Ice Spice with like Drake.
No, I'm
The
not. I'm
Weeknd,
not.
Kanye.
He said megastar. I'm not putting her with those people.
That's who I'm thinking of when you say megastar.
Bro,
Like,
but bro, those people had a first year as well. She's in her first year.
She's a megastar.
yeah, for sure.
So that would be the more recent one. Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
Okay, so if you think Billie Eilish is a megastar, Ice Spice is 100% on her way to being that.
Ice Spice couldn't
That's all
sell a
I'm
show
saying.
out in
Have some
Toronto.
vision.
Like,
72 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Jeez.
yeah. All right, so let's get back to your story actually. So now we just got off a grinder. We got
Yeah,
off
we
a
did.
grinder.
Yeah, great success.
He couldn't wait to bring it back to Grindr, huh?
So we just got off a grinder where you met other people that were grinding.
Yeah.
And like now you're at Vice selling like you just made this deal with your boy. Now you're at, like you're selling this this brick. How you selling this? Like what did you do after this? Like did you get like hooked to it? Like was it
And
that
he's
easy
still
to
meeting
move?
people I met him around that time, like when he was working there, and I met him through doing interviews and stuff with him,
Right. So the scene is taking off. I'm working there at the perfect time because the scene is taking off, and I have these people, shout out to Jermaine, who are putting me on to artists and being like, you need to talk to this guy, you need to talk to this girl. Like he knows people in like Calgary, right?
Yeah.
So I'm able to like churn out content. Now at Vice, my job was to create 3 pieces of content per day. And that's either I can write it myself, or I can outsource it to other writers.
That's like a TikTok schedule.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like in hindsight, it was really crazy. And my budget for editorial, that means I could pay people for writing $700 a month,
So everyone's working for free.
$50.
Holy shit.
Which is how much I was paying. I was paid when I was freelancing
Yeah.
up until my job, right? But pretty much all this coincided, and it's all happening at the exact same time. Like I interview Murder Beats. He comes over. I go to see him at his manager's apartment, and then on the way back, I'm selling weed. Like I'm doing
Yeah.
everything at the exact same
Yeah.
time, So now my life is like work, fun, which is social life, which is related to work, and then
music
like
and-
selling weed on the side. So I'm chipping off the brick, and I'm selling it to these gay guys for like 1 gram, 2 gram tops. Like they're really just like
Yeah.
more so for the company, right? These guys are not trafficking anything. So this is all within Parkdale too. And I chip off the brick and I make my money back, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this, and like now I'm buying pounds instead of half pounds. So I'm kind of doing that for about a year, where I'm like juggling the Vice and the.
At that point, how much are you making from Vice and how much are you making from like drug dealing?
So at that
What'd you
point,
say?
Vice, I'm making like $1,200 every 2 weeks. Not a lot of money, and that's really just going towards paying off my rent downtown.
Yeah.
So all the money I need to like eat or anything like that, or pay for my cell phone bill, has to come from selling weed. on Grindr.
1,200 is that's less than minimum wage, isn't it?
When you go down to it, I would have been better off working at the McDonald's down the
That's
street. Yeah.
crazy.
For all the work, and
Yeah.
the time put in. All right,
Because
so
it's not a 9 to 5 either.
all right, so everyone wants to know, where do the heavy drugs start to come in?
So, okay. So-
when does it start to go up a tick?
And are you smoking your product at this point?
yeah, I'm smoking for free. That's the other good
that
part.
was the good part.
When so I never actually like sold cocaine. So let's just go.
You never
with that.
touched it.
No, I touched it. I did it,
Okay.
but I never did cocaine before I worked at Vice. So I started doing coke at some Vice Christmas party, and everybody at the company had it. So it was just kind of like unavoidable. But the hard drugs came into play because as I'm doing this like grinder and making content thing, I'm keeping that spirit of like time to write negative to like get people to really start reading your shit. And there's only like one big player that is really in the city that you can write negatively about. So I start writing negatively about that camp, and I burn my bridge quick, right?
Can you say the name or you just don't want to?
It's pretty clear.
Like Drake?
Yeah.
And anyway, as a result of that, I'm like, okay, it's time for me to maybe start to pivot away from music, because I'm living in Toronto and I don't have access to like the main characters. It's slim pickings.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, it's time to pivot. Thankfully, there's just other people in my orbit, and one of the guys who's like a party promoter offhandedly one day says like, yeah, my friends used to run this shit all the way into Australia. And I'm like, wait, what? Tell me more. Pretty much the way it works is like these guys, they all met in university at McGill, and they recruit Canadian mules to go down into Las Vegas, and then they have a guy that they met who worked for the cartel who brings the shit into Las Vegas through the border in a truck and gives these mules from Canada a new set of luggage. In that new set of luggage, in the lining, like you can't see it,
Yeah.
is probably about like 4 kilos of cocaine.
God damn.
He explains how this operation works. And the first thing I think is like, okay, sign me up.
You wanted to be a mule?
I went. I was a mule.
Oh shit. Okay.
I would never ask anyone to do anything I haven't done myself.
Fair enough. You had to start at the bottom. You had to start at the bottom.
So it's a free vacation. And also
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And $20,000 upon return.
Oh, whoa, that's amazing. What the fuck?
Right. So
20.
This is the thing.
That's what you would be making in
Brother,
a year.
you know
at
what
that
type
point.
of risk that is?
But no, but at that point, if you're making 1,200,
not that big, as we've come to find out, 2 years in jail.
Yeah,
over there.
No, for what you did
over there too. Because the people that got caught, they came. So their story came out 2017. They were back before I went in.
But they were getting sentenced to like 7 years and shit like that.
I got sentenced to 9.
Yeah, and get
right.
out
Like whatever you get
shit,
sentenced to, it doesn't mean that's how much time you have to do, unless you're in America.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So at this time, you're making probably like 15,000 from Vice, and you're saying that for one trip muling, you'll be making 20 grand.
That's right. Yeah.
Canadian or American?
Canadian. Because our money exchanges fairly with Australian money.
Oh, okay.
So.
Slava, can you please explain the first trip that you did?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
he was nervous. He was shaking it. He was on the plane shaking it.
So, okay, here's the thing. So, I, at this first meeting with this guy, it's me and my co-accused. And both of us were like, this sounds great. Can we go together? And the guy goes, no, you need to be with a guy and a girl. So I'm with my girl at the time. My girl's like, okay, yeah, sign us up. And she had a friend for him to go with. So he goes first with the friend. He has the time of his life. You go through Las Vegas, okay? And everything is paid for.
Yeah.
So this guy goes to Vegas. He lays on the charm. He's with this girl. He's like, oh, it's our honeymoon. Can we do this? He got his room upgraded. He goes to the bar. He has a threesome later that night. His trip is flawless. Here's the thing.
This is amazing.
This guy's from Dubai, right? He's a brown guy. And he had just come back from Dubai to Canada, and then he was going to Australia again. So he lands in Australia. He opens up his luggage, and there's a piece of paper, and it says TSA. It's like, what the fuck? He looks on it. It says, this baggage was chosen at random for a TSA inspection. We're sorry if some of the things were moved around.
It's kind of racist.
Brother, absolutely. But it also means, yo, this is fucking foolproof.
Yeah,
because they went through his
see
bag
it?
and
Oh
they
my
didn't see
God.
it. Bro, this guy comes back, and now I'm pumped. Because I'm going with my girl. I'm like, okay, sick little... My girl goes, yeah, I don't want to go anymore.
Oh, my God. So you have to go get a new girl.
New free vacation was the next day.
Well, it's kind of... This is the problem, because now it's like, it was cutting it very close. So I have to end up going with this guy who...
Grinder all over again, bro. This guy went back to his grinder to find a partner.
Even worse.
I went with my drug dealer, who was like this young black kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's where you fucked up. Right there is where you fucked up. You would have been better off going on Craigslist and finding a random white girl.
Here's the thing. We still made it. We still made it. So now, anyway, we go to Las Vegas. We definitely don't have the same time that my buddy had. We're staying off the strip.
I hope you didn't have the same time that your buddy had.
Threesome and everything. Upgrade your suite.
We're staying like off the strip, bro. I'm talking about like there's the strip, then there's a highway, and then there's a continuation of the strip, and that's where we were staying.
Okay.
So we're there. We're by the fucking Chick-fil-A. That's what we're... No, not... What's the one they have out there?
No.
We're by the In-N-Out.
I know exactly where you are. I've been in Vegas.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, whatever. It's Las Vegas. We're going into Australia. It's like a fucking 20-hour flight, and like something happened with our routing. So I'm worried that it's like, I'm like, hey, we're flying out of San Francisco instead of LAX. Is that okay? And the guy who's coordinating, he's like, yeah, it should be fine. And I'm like, should be fine? Like, what do you mean? Is it okay or is it not okay?
The bag might get lost.
So we land in Australia. At this point, I'm on a jet forever, and it's like stuffy, you know?
Are you like on the plane though? Like, are you like shitting yourself?
Yeah,
Like,
you have
are
no
you,
option at that point.
Describe what's going through your head.
Are you watching a movie or are you just sitting there in your thoughts? Like,
the plane is like empty for some reason, and I like curl up on one of those like 3-seat sections by the bathroom, and I just like sleep for a little bit. I'm listening to Tame Impala because they're Australian, and that's my logic. I'm like, if I listen, it's like checking in, right? I'm checking in with Tame Impala on my way in. So listen, we get to the thing. We grab our bags. And this is like around the time of Ebola happening. Remember the big Ebola scare? So we go through, and there's like a quarantine area to my right, and the border guard that you have to give your passport to. I'm wheeling the luggage up, and like our story is more or less, hey, this guy was just in like it's pretty close to the truth. Like, I'm a Vice editor. This guy was just in a show that we did, and we're celebrating. So I've been telling that story to everybody, told it to her too, checked the passports, and I swear to God, when she gave us back our passports, she winked at me. I don't know.
She liked you.
Or maybe it was a plug, you know? Like they have, it's the cartel you're talking about, you know what I mean?
No,
The
for sure. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt
gang
it.
in the world.
And here's the thing: is people
Separate cartels, but yeah, they have a lot of power for sure.
people will say like part of the story that really cheesed me too was the fact that they made it seem like it was not a like real operation. They made it sound like it was like crazy glued and shit and all this other stuff. Their packages were just as certified as mine was. I saw pictures and shit. The reason that they went down was because they refused to meet up ahead of time and met up at the airport to swap luggage.
Oh my God.
You do that, you're on the watch list.
Yeah.
If you swap luggage with anyone at the airport for any reason,
Even if it's an
done.
accident. Yeah.
Done. So there's
They
nothing
think it's a
that
bomb in there at that point.
there's nothing that
No,
is
you
gonna
know
get
it's an
plugged out.
illegal trade, like, you know?
One or the other.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got ahead of myself there. But anyway, I did the trip. I come back. I'm super pumped. But now people are like, wait, this guy went, he got a TSA package. This guy went with his drug dealer and it went through. This thing sounds foolproof. And I'm like, yeah, it pretty much is. You know, they wanted to be put on. I put them on. I regret it. But
You get like a finder's fee?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't because they didn't fucking do it right.
Yeah.
So
And
I didn't
this
make
was
any
only
money off
this
it.
was only just this is the next thing that happened.
This is like a month after I come back. Like I come back at the end of October. These people go at the start of December.
And they fuck it up.
And they fucked it up. And it's unfortunate, but whatever. I mean, I guess my point is like I didn't make anyone do anything they didn't want
Yeah.
to do.
They saw you, got jealous, and said, let me do it too.
Sure,
That's
it
on
looks
them.
easy. If it's easy enough that I did it, they thought that they
So
could do it
you
too.
only did one mule run.
Yeah. And that was like, I'm upfront about my intentions. Had I never been caught for this, my plan was just to go to Australia every year.
Wait, so you got caught for the other people fucking up?
Yes, that's my charge.
Okay,
That's why
They
all-
ratted, right?
That's it. They all ratted out.
Rats.
Were they white guys?
No, it was like super diverse, and that was kind of like that was
Diverse group of rats.
that was to my detriment because they paraded out my roommate, who was like a black guy. So they made it seem like the age-old Vice story of like,
Yeah,
oh, Vice
yeah.
took. I'm like, yeah, I didn't like live with this guy for a year in the hopes that like I would get a scheme popping.
Yeah.
So it's like,
No,
all right.
the way that they painted it was like you had a bunch of little slaves
Yeah,
going
they made
back
it
and forth
seem-
from Australia.
It made it seem like you couldn't work at Vice. You couldn't graduate out of being an intern if you didn't do this thing.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because none of the people that went were interns.
No, it's because like you're the only
Bro.
person with a name, so they're gonna paint the story. Like, you know, media. You worked in media, so like you understand. Like they have
That
to find the
click
story,
value, right?
Yeah, they have to find the
Sure.
story somewhere.
Oh, it's a good story. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. I fucking wrote a book about it.
What's the book name again?
Bad Trips, Slava Pastuk. Audiobook sounds way better. Cam Dryden, shout out to you. You're not going to listen to this.
he might.
He might. He's a
He has
guy.
the patience to read 7 hours straight. So
Shout out to him.
yeah.
I think there's like parts in here where I quote Future and Jay-Z lyrics too, so I'm really excited to see what Cam does with that.
Yeah, to hear him say it.
Yeah. Cam's rendition of Move That Dope.
So you come back, you put these guys on, they go get caught. How long until like they snitch to you getting picked up type shit?
So there was like, so they snitched immediately.
Folded.
Yeah, like fucking House of Cards. Which, like, again, nobody involved in this story is like a criminal, you know?
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
really like blame anybody for not keeping it solid.
It's not big time gangster shit, except for like the main plugs.
The main plugs, absolutely, who are good forever. Those guys are, yeah. But
And they're probably still going on.
I'm sure they're not tripping. Like, did they like threaten anybody or anything?
no, they saw me after the story came out and to make sure that I was cool, but they're like, this is the last time I'm going to see you.
Yeah, for
How
sure.
did what?
They gave the luggage. Like he explained that
How-
earlier.
It was a bad exchange.
Okay, so
They did the exchange at the airport. Are you not
This
listening?
guy's not listening.
But that's how they got caught.
yeah, so the 5 people that went, there's another section about like how they ended up mixing up, but some of the people that were gonna go didn't go, and it was kind of this weird thing. One of the guys that was supposed to go was supposed to be a group of 6. One guy didn't make it out of Canada, so his luggage was already spoken for, and his luggage had to be distributed amongst those 5.
Oh, so they were trying to like split it up.
Yeah, so there's 3 people who sent people. There was me, my co-accused, and then a third guy who is not involved in anything, but he's in the book. And though that guy is 2 guys, one of that guy fucked up. That luggage had to be distributed. That distribution happened at the airport. That put all 5 of them on a watch list because they interacted with one another. When they got to Australia, their luggage got searched super thorough, and they found what they found.
Imagine
they
how
brought the dog out for sure.
Imagine how easy this shit would have been before 9/11. Like without the TSA, like at every
Bro, that's why
airport.
cocaine used to be so popular
That's
back in the day.
crazy. Yeah, no, obviously. Like I never thought. Like I thought all smuggling was like on foot or boat type shit. Like you know what I mean? I never thought like people
Bro,
would be
it's-
flying. But then
it's going
before
every type
TSA,
of
it's
way.
like
It's
it must be
going every type
easy
of
as
way.
fuck.
I mean, even now I know they upgraded their security so heavy in Australia
Yeah.
because like they kept bringing it in because they didn't have anything, and they have like a booming economy, and people can afford to pay like $400 a gram.
Nowhere else to get coke in the world either.
Yeah, it's a fucking island,
Yeah.
right?
I feel like they had the climate to just start fucking producing it, but that's a whole nother thing, right?
Coke
It's a weird climate, like Australia. It's like fucking desert climate for the most part.
Yeah, it's
right?
not like
isn't Coke like only grown in South America?
I don't know if you could grow it anywhere else. I think the conditions are just perfect
Yeah, and
for it.
I'm pretty sure that's the only place it's ever been. Because I remember they found Coke in like the pyramids, like in like Egyptian tombs, and they said like that has to be from
No way.
the South Africas, and they're saying they had to been able to cross the oceans at that point because they found it's an originated from that plant originated from South Africa.
And the Egyptians, they like to tweak. They like to do a lot of drugs, man. Them boys were tweaking.
Okay, so when you're moving this, like, are you like are you like a heavy partier at this point before you start like smuggling and shit? Like when you're at Vice and you start doing coke and stuff, are you just like 3 nights a week?
Okay, wait a minute. When you're at Vice just doing coke and stuff, now you're making him sound like a cokehead.
No, he said he got on coke from Vice.
Yeah, because a lot of okay. So here's the thing: is we're skipping a very important part, which is I started working at Vice, and then they got like $200 million from Rogers. So they build out this whole new studio, and a big part of this studio is a bar. And it's not just your regular bar. I'm talking a fully stocked beer deliveries every week. Part of working at Vice is chilling at Vice. It's you go there, maybe you put a little Kahlua in your morning coffee, maybe you have a beer with your Uber Eats at lunch, and maybe you stay from 5 to 9, 10, maybe, it's a Thursday, let's go out.
Yeah.
Oh, we're right on Queen West, we're in Liberty Village, let's go to the Gladstone or
Good
any
old
of these
days,
other-
man.
Yeah.
Good old
No, it was like the same thing we were talking about last week because I was saying how like the Lizzo situation, I was like a lot of those side jobs and stuff are based off of friendships that you have at work, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you need to become like you need a network inside your network to be able to get the better opportunities and shit.
And maybe not even like to get opportunities, but just to like not go crazy from the amount of work that you guys like. Okay, all of us have to write 3 pieces of content today. And
Yeah.
it's like, fuck, how are you doing it? How are you doing it? You start off bitching to one another, and then you develop a camaraderie. But that camaraderie, I came to find out, stops and starts when you walk through the
The door,
doors. You
yeah.
know, yeah. Like those.
So you feel like a
people-
lot of people turn their back on you when the shit hit the fan?
Yeah, but at the same time, they have no loyalty or allegiance to me as a person. They just like appreciated the fact that I was the Vice guy.
Did you ever have like a friend at Vice that ended up writing a story about you, like about this?
No. My best friend at Vice was the guy I committed this crime with.
And do you not talk to him anymore?
Legally, I have to tell you that, yeah, I don't talk to him.
No, I got it. Because that's actually what I meant. Like, you guys aren't allowed to associate.
We're not. Well, he also, like, he got found guilty, but he hasn't finished. He hasn't even gone in. He's on bail. So my shit's done for the most part, and he hasn't even started his. Because...
Which is a little unfair if you ask me.
well, if you have money...
He was free, but you never knew COVID was coming, you know?
Go to canlii.org, CANLII.org.
Another one of your jail websites, bud?
This one, I see one N, LII.org. Do you know what this website is?
No.
This website lets you look through the legal records anywhere in Canada. Now, you see where it says document text? PASTUK HOV. Oh, yeah, it'll probably find it up there. Same word.
No
It's
space.
my last name.
No space.
That's crazy. There's an actual Pastuk somewhere. They stole that shit from me. Yeah, that first one, Lauji.
It's your cousin.
So that's
So it has your whole case.
So the one right below it has my case. This is his
Whoa,
case.
that's crazy.
Scroll all the way down to the bottom.
You can see if people ratted.
Yeah. This is like, oh, see where it says conclusion?
Whoa.
Yeah. See when it was released?
Wait, so he just
shit.
what?
No, so
He
he's
was-
and he's just chilling.
So you got fucked more than him?
Well, fucked is I went to
It's
jail.
relative, like relative, yeah.
I mean, like it really comes down to like, what would you prefer? Would you rather go and get it over with, or would you rather have it hang over your head?
But is it? But
At
it
one
says
point-
released on.
No, this was
This
released.
document.
This document was
okay,
released.
okay.
He hasn't even gone in yet. He's
That's
gonna
fucked up.
appeal it. He's gonna be an old man by the
And
time
I would
he
make
goes
my
in.
lawyer just say at this point, it's old news.
Right. That is probably what he's going to try to do, and that's the reality in Canada. If you have enough money, you can beat any.
Yeah. Well, that's not just Canada.
But
That's
even
anywhere.
realistically, as his lawyer, I would say, like, come on, he's already had to live with the burden. He's been ostracized. You know, people look at him as an outcast already. He's already served his time.
Go back to his for a second. I want to just and then look for my name.
Control F.
It should already be there because it's scroll down to where it talks about how, because they called me into friggin'
Testify.
next one, because I got out on parole, and then the next day I had to go to this fucking thing.
That's crazy. Wait, so
Next one. It's down at the bottom.
like
Oh yeah, right here.
so he's found guilty.
Hey, I see it. He's
you
an
like that.
extremely reluctant witness.
This guy just wants to say, "Hey guys, I'm not snitching."
Let's put that on record.
Hey,
Let's just
honestly,
put this on
bro,
record.
this shit is on record.
More people got to stand on
But we
that.
should
Like,
screenshot this,
bro.
put
If
this
you're
on
all
the
doing
clip.
something together, come on now. Like, but whatever. I'm not gonna get into whoever was a rat, but it's not cool.
If you're the last person to go to jail for something, that's probably a sign that you didn't snitch on anyone.
That's a fact. But also, it's like if if people know how good Canadian prison is, there's no reason to snitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially not like hindsight 2020 after talking to you, it's like if that shit ever happened, it's like why am I snitching if I'm just gonna go chill,
Bro,
let my boys
like,
off.
That shouldn't be the reason to
It
not
is,
snitch.
bro. The reason why you don't snitch is to get reduced time. What do you mean?
Jail even in that
Well,
bad,
that's the
nigga,
thing.
take it on the chest.
That's absolutely the case. Is like that is why people snitch. People snitch to get less
To reduce time, yeah.
And in Canada, that doesn't work like that. And in Australia, to be honest with you, it doesn't seem to work like that either. Because there's one guy who stayed super solid the whole time of the 5, and then there's one guy who sang every chance he got. You know how much less time that guy got? The guy who sang?
3 months.
Literally 3 months.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Literally 3 months on like a 28-month sentence.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Is
crazy.
that what-
And
Is
it's
that
like
worth it
you
to
still
you?
got off, so you got 5 years early.
You know what
right?
it is too, though.
Yeah, everyone kind of got the same.
I don't want to
Yeah.
give. I don't want to give no advice to rats. But rats are the type where they start snitching before they have their deal in place, and then they're just looking at it like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All that
well,
information I
yeah.
just gave you for free, can that count towards? No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, like,
you have to
they're
withhold
so stupid.
something.
Yeah, they're so stupid. But
No,
whatever.
I get it. Like, bro, that shit's happened to me before. It's like the people just love to talk. Like, some people like they're so scared. They're like their automatic reaction is tell the truth. You know?
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
those people are just like they should never be in this. Like,
And some people are programmed to be rats as well. Like they think like once the truth is out there, it's better for everyone.
well, aren't cops allowed to lie to you about shit?
Yeah, of course,
big
that's
time.
a
yeah,
old
to
tricks.
get a confession.
And then they say, you know, fucked up, right?
Yeah.
You know, you fucked up.
You're like, you know,
he doesn't get the movie
this
quote 'cause
could,
he's old,
this could
so he's
all
young
go
as fuck.
away if you just
How old
like
are you?
tell us. I'm 28.
Oh, that's not as fun.
Yeah, this guy's like, he's an
Did you
idiot.
hear what he
Don't
was
listen to him.
saying about the weekend? Where the first time he
I
heard
heard
about
what he
him?
was-
No, bro,
Yeah.
Kissland was the first time I listened to it, which is 2 years after House of Balloons.
It
House
makes
of
you,
Balloons
it
came
makes
out.
you
crazy,
sound like a baby,
Bro, House of Blues came out when you were in like grade 11. I was in like grade 9. It's like I'm not listening to The Weeknd in grade 9. I'm listening to Drake. Sorry,
you weren't doing
Kanye.
coke at grade 9?
No, bro, I'm telling you, I only did
After
coke
parties.
once. I only did
Listen,
coke once.
I love the weekend. I never did coke in my life, but hey,
It's such a weird thing, like that black people don't do coke. Like, again, I'm not one to say like, oh, you should. I'm just saying like,
okay, for me, it's like I'm not even closed-minded. First of all, like if it was a psychedelic, I probably would have already done it by now. Coke is just like it just
Bro,
fucks up your serotonin.
imagine,
and shit.
like,
and
Red
what
Bull-
what I see from people doing it and stuff, it's like nah, I don't want that.
but imagine like a Red Bull, but like 10x. That's what coke is.
All right, that's cool, man.
Bro, you like
honestly
Red
for me
Bull,
too,
don't
it's
you?
just more of a cultural thing, bro. Like when white people are like, oh, like we don't wear baggy pants, I'm like, cool. Like
So
I'm not
you
gonna
do
push that on them.
So you do crack? If you want to talk
No.
about cultural things,
bro, don't be a like I'm a nigga. What are you talking about? Why would I do crack? Do niggas do crack? Like what are you talking about?
You know what's big in the gay community is GHB and meth combined.
What's GHB?
GHB is a date rape drug, but if you give it to yourself, you like pass out. But if you do that with meth, it's called mud and Tina.
That's fucked. I've heard that, but I never knew that's what it was.
Yeah, I found out because people kept asking me for it. I'm like, I sell weed.
That's so fucked up.
So weird.
Bro, I seen
so
someone
the
on-
gays were asking for
Yeah.
it. That's crazy.
I seen someone, God rest his soul, he's dead now, but he did G on purpose and pulled up to the party on us. I was like, this
What
nigga's
the
tweaking. Like,
Nah,
bro,
that's
that's
crazy.
not a good drug to do. I would not recommend anyone do that
No,
drug.
GHB is bad, bro. GHB is like at the end of
Is
the
that
night.
like a roofie?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that's
Yes.
exactly what it is.
But you're giving it to yourself after a long night. You know, like when you do too many drugs and you're like, oh, I just need to go to bed.
Yeah.
You're to G yourself out.
It's fucking weird,
That's
man.
weird. Well, what? Okay, this is gonna be drug school because I'm like very naive. Isn't
Oh, I thought you-
Xanax like that too? Like, isn't it knock you out?
Xanax is a benzodiazepine. So Xanax is more of like, I don't actually know how this all works, but it's not like a perk. Perks are different.
Perks are uppers.
It's a super downer. It's a super
Perks
downer.
are downers too, aren't
Perks
they?
are downers. Oh, I
Aren't
thought.
they?
I couldn't tell you what a perk. A perk, you
Perk's
feel
a
it.
painkiller, though.
Yeah, you feel it. So
So
I
that
don't know.
has to
I
be
don't know to
down.
call it a
If,
downer
if,
or
it's a
upper.
painkiller, it's a downer. It's like heroin and shit.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So
perks you be feeling on your skin, a Xanax is like you just like your mind and your anxiety go away. Like you're just tired.
Yeah,
of like
I just did a
zombie.
Xan 15 hours till I land. You know.
Yeah,
half a Xan, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
You said half,
crazy
yeah.
tolerance. That's pathetic, bro.
Yeah, that's what everyone.
Half a Xan, bro. I'll do half a Xan right now.
But yeah, the thing with Xanax is like for plane rides, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, but like that's what like you guys are saying this G or whatever it just knocks you out.
You can't do G on the plane.
G, yo, bro, G makes you tweak. Like,
if you fight through it.
If you fight through it and you stay awake,
yeah.
you're tweaking. And other than that, you like, bro, it's a date rape. You see what people are trying to do. Like, it makes you like, oh, like I don't know where I am. Take care of me. Like,
that's the most fucked up thing is like, and this is the other thing about prison is a lot of people are addicted to shit, and it's because it's being given to them. Because let's say you robbed a pharmacy because you're addicted to OxyContin. They're not going to give you OxyContin in jail because it's going to feed your addiction. So there's treatment plans for people. They put them on Suboxone, they put them on methadone.
and they got addicted to that shit.
That's exactly right.
So fucked.
It is fucked, but like I prefer that to like just giving them the stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, 'cause if you
why
go
not
clean-
fucking, well, yeah,
If you
I
go
was gonna
clean
say
cut, you
get
can
them off.
die.
rehab them. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Couldn't you die if you get off of heroin?
Some
like,
people
not
do.
heroin,
My whole thing is
oxy
like
shit?
that's natural selection when it comes to the cold turkey thing.
if
If you're
that kind of podcast. Yeah, I mean, fuck, I agree.
like if you can't like survive the rehab process the way that we give it to you, maybe you weren't meant to be alive. I
Yeah,
don't know.
if you can't handle a slightly less strong drug without dying.
No, but he's saying like cold turkey because
yeah, I
like
think
isn't
they
that
Oh,
the
you're
thing?
saying
yeah,
cold
I
turkey?
think they should put them cold turkey.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
I heard
okay,
like
well,
alcoholics, if you go cold
At least
turkey, they
wean
can
them
die.
off.
bad alcoholics.
Yeah, like you,
some guy who's been drinking whiskey every day for 60 years.
yeah, if you just take them off of alcohol, they'll die type shit.
That's when drugs get really dangerous, though, is when you're not doing them to get high, but doing them to like establish a baseline.
Yeah, to establish a
Yeah, and
baseline.
that's
where you're like,
fucked up.
oh, I'm not my